Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of Sports Ultras live here on 3FM 92.7. My name is Owuraku Ampofo, and in the next hour, we'll be touching on a range of issues as club football resumes after the international break. We'll be doing a lot of talk, especially with the MTN FA Cup, which reaches the crucial stages. 8 would become 4 in the next couple of hours, and so we'll be touching base with that as well. And then we'll also be looking at other stories here on Sports Ultras because Brazil are on the hunt for a new coach. We'll be hearing from the panel on what the various suggestions are when it comes to who should be leading a star-studded Brazilian team. And then we'll also be talking about an unfortunate case that happened at the Bukom Boxing Arena this weekend where a Nigerian boxer passed, unfortunately. But we'll be getting details of that as we'll be speaking to one of the officials of that bout. And so we'll be doing that pretty shortly, and all of that and many more here on Sports Ultras. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back. You're still live here on Sports Ultras, and we do start off from that tragic incident that I touched on right before we took that quick break. The Ghana Boxing Authority have officially confirmed the death of Nigerian boxer Gabriel Oluwasegun Olanre-Iweju, who tragically passed away after collapsing during a bout at the Bukom Boxing Arena. This happened on Saturday night. Now, Olanre-Iweju was facing Accra-born John Imbanugu, also known as Power, in an undercarding fight of the Ghana's professional boxing league when the unfortunate incident occurred. Now, midway through the fight, Olanre-Iweju suddenly collapsed in the ring, prompting the referee to call for immediate medical assistance. Now, despite urgent efforts to revive him, the 40-year-old boxer remained unresponsive and was rushed to the Kolibu hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. Now, joining us on Sports Ultras is an official who was present at the boxing bout, and that's Amin Lamptey. Good evening, Amin. Very tragic incident to be reporting on, but you were on the ground. Can you give us more context as to what this happened, and were there any signs that something like this could happen on the night?
Very well. First of all, thank you very much for having me. Let me say good evening to your listeners and those who are, also monitoring the program via social media. You asked a very, very important question. That is boxing for you. As we all know, fatalities are therefore always painful reminder that boxing is a sport or business that is literally a matter of life and death. It is something everybody is aware of that. So what happened last Saturday was that, Gabriel Oluwasegun was in an international light heavyweight contest, against the Ghanaian boxer John, Imbanugu. It was a fight that everybody believed that was one of the fight that everybody is waiting for. But unfortunately, round number 3, at 2 minutes 46 seconds, Gabriel actually decided to move back to the ropes. When he got back to the ropes, without any punch coming from his opponent, he went down the canvas. After the referee, Richard Amevi, after he counted him, he realized that in the process of counting, he realized that no, the young man is not really in good condition. So he called the ringside physician, Edward Addo, supported by the National Ambulance Service. They came and then tried to resuscitate him. Within just about 3-4 minutes, they were able to resuscitate him, and then he was transported to the Kolibu Teaching Hospital. So he was there, and he was placed on the, oxygen for some, I think, about 30 minutes before he kicked the bucket. So this was what happened at the Bukom Boxing Arena last night. And all of us are very sad because this is the first time some of us have experienced this situation.
I can imagine how difficult it is for you, especially being there. But I just wanted to find out, do you know if there are any steps being taken with regards to investigations to find out exactly what went wrong in order to ensure that, this probably does not repeat itself?
As I indicated, boxing is a sport that is just like football. basketball, hockey, horse racing, and mention it. Death in the ring is sometimes statistically rare, but there is no question boxing is a dangerous sport. Many a times, what we normally have is ring injuries. You have boxers having ring injuries. They will not die instantaneously in the ring. They will be sent to the hospital. Maybe after some few months or days, they will pass away. We have what we call the brain bleeding. We have brain surgery. We have fall into a coma, just like what happened yesterday. He fell into a trauma coma before he was transported. So it happens many a times. But in our case, it's the first time we've experienced that. As a ring announcer for over 20 years of experience in the ring, I have never experienced this in Ghana. So this is the first time all of us have experienced that. So Gabriel has passed away, very, very painful. But one thing about professional boxing in this country is that when you have a foreign boxer coming to fight a Ghanaian boxer, he must actually go through the process. Number one, we need to certify that he is a licensed boxer, a professional boxer. So we communicate with his boxing federation. They will give us the approval and before we are giving him the green light. The second point is his medical report. So Gabriel came to this fight with his medical report, with his license as a professional boxer, before the GBA approved and sanctioned the fight. So there is no any medical problem with him. And even before the fight, a day before the fight, the boxer will go for the weigh-in. At the weigh-in, you also need to have the physician around, the medical officer around, that would take the boxers again through some medical checkup before the fight. There are even situations where even if the boxers are in the locker room, they have to check them medically before they finally mount the ring to fight. So there is no any sign of Gabriel being sick or suffering from any situation. And if you look at the fight critically, if you look at the video that has gone viral, there was nothing like hefty punches landed on him to have hypnotized him to push him to this level. He was, if you look at the scorecards, Gabriel was leading. He was leading. He was the one dictating the fight. At a point, he even gave his opponent a hefty punch that ended up, the opponent ended up oozing blood from the mouth. So we knew he was leading until this situation. They went into a slight inboxing, traded some punches. It was not hefty. He just made a comeback a bit. Straight away, we saw him retreating back to the ropes, and then he went down before this incident happened. So it was really, really sad. But we just wish him the best. We hope that the family would accept our condolences. May his soul rest in perfect peace.
And just to wrap up, I mean, have you managed to reach the family or the Nigerian Boxing Federation?
Very well. So what happened last night, we really had sleepless nights. Since it happens, we've been at the Kolibu Teaching Hospital, make sure that the body is preserved and protected. And then we also moved to the police station, Kolibu police station, to make sure that an official report will be given out. The GBA president spoke to the Minister of Youth and Sports, who was also very much interested in the case. And then this afternoon, we met with the Nigerian ambassador to Ghana, and together with the leader of the Nigerians in this country, who's in charge of their welfare, we met them at the GBA office. We explained everything to them, and they themselves attested to the fact that they saw the video, they were monitoring the fight, and they saw what happened. But yesterday and today, we also spoke to the Secretary General of the Nigerian Boxing Board Control, talking about Remy Abodori. We spoke to him, and it's likely he's also going to come down. We are in the process, and we hope that what the GB has done so far, it is good for us to be on the same page with the Nigerians.
Well, thank you very much, Amin Lamptey, for making time to share this context with us with what happened yesterday after Nigerian boxer Gabriel Oluwasegun Olarenweju lost his life in a boxing match.
May I seize the opportunity to just want to express our condolences to the families. Most of them are here in Ghana and those in Nigeria. And let me also thank your network for giving us the opportunity. And all members of the boxing fraternity, this is more or less like a turning point. It's an eye-opener. And that is why Ghana Boxing Authority makes sure that the health condition of our boxers is very, very paramount. We must make sure that if you want to bring your boxer to fight a boxer, you need to make sure you do the right scrutiny to be able to do the right things at the right time. So Ghanaian boxing fraternity are mourning we are mourning, and we hope that this will serve as more or less like a turning point for us to be able to change our behavior and attitude toward boxing. Some are saying that this incident is going to take the steam out of professional boxing in this country. No, this is not the first time it has happened in the world of boxing. If you go and check the records, over 100 boxers died through similar processes in similar situations. What we are saying is that let's take lessons from this and correct any abnormality in future. I'm grateful.
Well, thank you very much, Amin Lamptey, once again for joining us. But we move on with the show, and let's talk about the MTN FA Cup. Mutala, we had seen signs coming. Hi, Amin.
Hello.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
sir.
thank
I'm
you.
grateful.
Okay, all right. Bye. Sorry about that. And so, as I mentioned, we're moving to club football now because it's back. And in the studio with me, Mutala Yakubu Akusieje and then Billy Shen. We'll start off with the MTN FA Cup, where we have 3 of our semi-finalists confirmed in the competition. Asante Kotoko are just about to face True Democracy. I like the name of the team, True Democracy. But let's just go through results of the quarterfinal so far in the MTN FA Cup. Bukom Chelsea just about edged Bichim United in the quarterfinal game. All Ghana Premier League side, and in the end, it was Stephen Amankona. Mutala's guy, Vamos was the one who
Steven Amankona.
Yes, he led Bukom Chelsea to the semi-final stage of the competition, and then there was Kerala United surprisingly being knocked out by Division 1 side Golden Kicks, and then there was Atram Devisa and Park Academy. Atram Devisa just about also edging that one. So a very tight game. Also went to penalties. Kotoko about to face True Democracy. We'll come to that one pretty shortly. But Mutala, what have you made of the FA Cup results so far? Any surprises for you?
Yeah, a lot of surprises. I mean, it goes with the mantra that Ubia. That is the FA Cup for you, and that is the only time the lower tier sides will have an opportunity of flexing their muscles against the big boys, and that is what we are seeing. There isn't the usual Hartlepool, the usual Mediema. Last season we had 2 Premier League clubs going into the final. In Swaterman were in the final. The year before it was Dreams FC that won it. But this time we are sure, or we know, that in the semi-final we are going to have at least one. In the final, we are going to have one Division 1 side in there, because Golden Cake and Atram Devisa are playing in the Division 1. Both have made it to the semi-final. So definitely we are going to have one Division 1 side and one Premier League side, because even if Asante Kotoko True Democracy wins, they will be facing Bukom Chelsea, and Golden Cake would also be coming up against Atram Devisa. For Asante Kotoko fans, they've already started dreaming about winning the double. And most of them, if you speak to them, they don't remember the last time the club won both the FA Cup and the league. And it would be a huge honor for them, especially with what they've gone through in recent times. And prior to the restart of competitive football, I remember Prosper Natiogum talking about the fact that winning a major trophy would be an honor to the departed Nana Poli, and they want to do it in style. Now they look forward and they don't see any Accra Hartlepool. They don't see any Dreams FC. They don't see any Mediema. In their way is True Democracy. It's a tricky tie, because we've seen Kotoko play against teams that you expect them to wash away, where they've struggled a bit. And that is the nature of the MTN FA Cup for you. But with all these factors coming in play, it would be a big motivation for them going into that game against True Democracy, knowing that we have less than 10 games to also end the Ghana Premier League. And their destiny is clearly in their hands. A semi-final against Bukom Chelsea anywhere is not an easy game at all. Kotoko Bukom Chelsea games are very dicey, especially with the man handling Bukom Chelsea now, Samuel Bodu, formerly of Hartlepool. He's determined to also win the MTN FA Cup. I am only happy that a team like Golden Cake are in the semi-final. I watched them against Hartlepool, Owuraku, in the 1/16, the 1/8 stage, and I can tell you they play some brilliant football. I wasn't surprised they were able to eliminate Haas, and they've gone on to eliminate Karela. I am disappointed in Nuruddin Amadou and Karela, because for a team that is struggling in the league, this could have been an opportunity or an escape route to play in Africa or win a major laurel. But Golden Kick have been fantastic. They've won yet another penalty. What they know how to do best is possession. I can tell you that with all the Division 1 teams, all the zones, Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3, there's no team that is possession obsessed than Golden Kick. They hold the ball very well. Their only bane is putting the ball at the back of the net. But if they're able to hold you for 90 minutes and get to the penalty, then that is where they know it's a lottery and their luck could shine. And they've done it against Hartlepool. They've done it against another Premier League side. Big for them. Atram yesterday, you could see the joy in his face qualifying for the semi-finals of the MTN FA Cup. And he wants to emulate what Abedi Pele did with Nanya FC in 2011. You remember that when the MTN FA Cup had gone on the hiatus and come back in 2011, Nanya won it, where they beat Kotoko in the finals. He wants to emulate that. He wants to be an ex-player who leads his side to win the MTN FA Cup. So he has all the motivation. The boys are playing some good football. They also won on penalty. So this is set up very, very well. And I like the fact that when we did the draw just a week ago at the MTN house, the Division 1 sides will be facing each other because you know their strength is almost at par. Then the Premier League sides will also be facing each other. So definitely we are going to have a Division 1 side in the final. Kumasi Asante Kotoko against True Democracy today. I don't see anything that True Democracy can do to stop an informed, motivated Kotoko side who know that once they win this game, they have one more hurdle against Bukom Chelsea, and if they are able to qualify for the final, then their dream of winning the double will come to a reality.
Well, hey, why do you have your hand up? Is there a classroom?
Yeah, no, I have an update, a boxing related update. So, a statement has come from 3Sports Emporium. They usually supervise the amateur boxing league, and it was expected to start on the 4th of April, but they've released a statement about the death and have stated that they are postponing the amateur boxing league until they make sure that every single dot is cleared and they make sure that the environment is safe for boxing once again. And so a new date hasn't been given yet, but for now there has been a postponement of the amateur boxing league.
Okay, thank you very much for that update, Bilishan. But let me start with you on the FA Cup. There's the possibility that we can continue the trend that we've seen in the past previous seasons where Dreams FC won it and Sachaman won it, and now we have Golden Kicks, Atram Devise in the semi-final. Potentially one of them could go to the final. Potentially one of them could win it. Is there a bother that Ghana, do you feel that Ghana are not really putting their strongest foot forward? Especially, I'm talking about Africa, financially, quality-wise. That maybe Ghana is just not putting its best foot. Because you saw, Dreams FC, remarkable. But then the level dropped in Swatraman. And that's the issue with sometimes the lower tier clubs winning this competition, because they don't have the financial muscle, they don't have the quality to be able to go deep in the competition. Is there a concern for you?
I'll be more concerned with the bigger teams in the Ghana Premier League, because it sort of looks like they don't really field their best available players for games. And because of that, it becomes more of a level playing field for the local teams who, of course, will want more, would see this as an opportunity to also get into African football, a very good route where they can possibly earn. In fact, now they can actually earn some more cash because there's money to be earned even from the qualification stages. And so I think the task should literally be on the bigger side to put their best available teams forward. I mean, we've seen attempts from Hartlepool under Samuel Buedu where he won the MTN FA Cup back-to-back. I think he put up strong squads at every possible turn and then beat all the opponents that he faced. But after him, it's looked like the lower tier sides who basically are fighting relegation in the Ghana Premier League or are just battling in the Division 1 League see it as a route where they can really battle, because in their minds these bigger teams won't set up their best available players for these games and they take advantage of it. Atram Devise have been basically the team that wins on penalties from the start of the prelims to the quarter-final stages. They've won all their matches on penalties, 4 games on penalties, and in fact, one of those games involved Ghana Premier League side. For them to actually go all the way to that point goes to show that, I mean, we still have a lot of work to do, especially with the big teams. Their mentality has to change, because now CAF has made available actual funding for if you even get into the qualification stages. So they should take it seriously, and they should put their best squad available to try and win it, and then we can see, an increase in quality in the future tournaments.
Akusua, do you think it's just a case of the big sides not maybe trying? And so for instance, Kotoko have a game today, and then they play again in 2 days, and then in 2 days after that they play. So it's like 3 games in 6 days. And so do you have a feeling that the bigger clubs are not prioritizing the FA Cup, hence why these smaller clubs are winning? Or it's just a case of they're not good enough?
They're just not good enough. Let's face it. If we talk about any type of different squad that Kotoko will be using to play this game, maybe they'll make some 2 changes. That's it. I see that Emmanuel Entry is starting. Their goalkeeper, Kamara, is he not the same person they are using for them?
Yeah.
Are they trying any of the others to say that, okay, you are the FA Cup goalkeeper that we're using? Yeah. It's the same players they used. I don't even think that they have they look at their squad and they're like, okay, we can use this second team to play in the FA Cup, and then maybe if things are getting difficult or hard for us and we need to win the games, and maybe we can bring in our top men. They don't have that. That is how come, even for Kotoko, aside everything, they still had to wait and bring back Kwame Poku. Because if they had a team where they can rely on, if they had that, they would still not be waiting to get back a player who even left them. So the teams are not just good enough to compete. And the younger teams, or the Division 1s, the Division 2s, they are taking these things seriously, because this gives them the clout they want. And that is all they want. They want the clout, they want the highlights. Are they going to get the highlights? Absolutely. Are they getting the clout? Of course. That is how come you see someone like Atram. I don't think Atram wants his team to ever be in the Premier League. Yeah. Does he? He's not running his football club to be like, okay, let's come in and compete against Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Accra Hattifolk. Golden Cake, I don't think they, maybe in the foreseeable future, probably 5 years, 10 years, but like in the next 2 years, like they're looking at any of their players now coming to play. They are just looking at the fact that, okay, our players can get the clout they need now. We can get the highlights. We can use the FA Cup, which is also a means of qualifying to Africa, to boost their prize money. So we need to go in. At the end of the day, they know that, okay, even in our Division 1, we're not fighting to win. Because when we go to their zones, Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3, who are the leaders?
I don't think any of them would stand a chance of...
Who are the leaders?
Yes.
None of them.
Even outside the top 10,
they are not even...
They are even struggling.
They are not even there. But this is a bigger opportunity for the clubs who know that, okay, this will help us boost the prices of our players. And the players themselves understand this. You can get the highlights you want, so that when we compile everything. So they know exactly what they want and they are going in for it. Unfortunately for the Premier League clubs, as Bill said, now, if by qualifying to Africa alone, there's money.
Yeah.
As are playing the group stage, you get money. This is not the time where we say the group stage was the money zone. So when you are playing, you hope that you qualify from the 2 prelims you would play before you are getting money. Once your name is in there during the draw, there's money available. But is this something that they want as of now? Maybe yes, they want it, but the kind of materials they have now cannot afford them to get it. Because for Karela, if they don't use the squad they used to play the Premier League, which players are they using? If a club like Kumasi Asante Kotoko, let's look at the lineup. I was just looking at the players they were starting with. Kamara is in post, and they have posted that Emmanuel Entry will be like, we know that Emmanuel Entry hasn't had a very good time in the Premier League, so probably
ever since he returned
from the Black Stars. So probably he's maybe the one player you would say, oh, okay, he's not getting, because if anything, why are they not using their junior team? More players from that side, because they say they are doing very well. So one, the Premier League teams at this point are not good enough. Two, I don't think that winning the FA Cup or going far is something that is of importance to them. Unless maybe
to the Premier League players.
Very few of them who want to actually qualify.
Most of them would love to win the FA Cup without it being attached to Africa. I'm telling you the truth. Because they are looking at the amount of money they are going to spend to even employ their team to, let's say, Mali, to play a game as against what they would earn. So they would wish the MTN FA Cup doesn't even come with the prize, the burden of going to Africa. Most of them.
Then you look at the lower division sides who are doing so well, and you go to their zones, they are not the one topping the charts. So you know that these are not people who are busting them, they are behind off on the pitch because they know that, when it comes to the league, we are doing well. When it comes to the FA Cup, we are doing well. No, they know what they want. Let's play well. Let's get the clouds that we need as and when it comes. Because the FA Cup, how many matches do you have to play to even get to the finals? How many matches do you have to play to eventually win it? So the Division 1s, the Division 2s, they have their own aim. The Premier League teams, some don't, they want to win it, not go to Africa and have that burden of it. Some don't just want to. So they will just, and they don't even have the team to say, okay, we have a different squad that will be fielding for FA Cup and we will field a different squad for the main Premier League. So Wednesday, we would see the players who will be playing for Kotoko in the Premier League. Almost the same players.
Kami Mpoku will still be starting, Kamara will still be in
and to me, I think, to be honest, if you're a club like Hearts of Oak, if I look at life is all about opportunity cost. If I look at the league table and how the league is going, look, the FA Cup, I think they joined from round of 16.
Yeah.
Round of 32. Round of 32.
Round of 32.
Yeah, round of 32.
Round of 32. Round of 16. Quarterfinals, semi-finals, final, 5 games, and you're in Africa. You are looking at a league that you have to play more than 30 games, and you have to win it. Mm-hmm. Second is not even enough. When was the last time Hearts went to Africa? That's where they belong. So if you are doing a season analysis, I'm thinking that, if anything, Hearts of Oak has to wake up in this period. Win 5 games, that's all. Win 5 games, and then in the league just survive. You can finish 10th, 11th. No one really cares.
What scares most of these teams is the financial burden.
If Hearts of Oak, if financially Hearts of Oak cannot go to Africa, then there's no point in.
I'm telling you, you know the mentality they have. I won't mince words. Most of these team owners and administrators feel that they don't even have a good squad to compete on the African level. You sit with them and they talk about the Al-Alis and they talk about the Zamaleks who can pay $5 million, £5 million to sign a player from Stoke City, to sign a player from Nottingham Forest. So they feel they can't even compete with them. So they have this at the back of their mind that, okay, even if we're going to spend money to go into Africa, it will be a waste of time. We'll end up being kicked out and would have spent maybe $100,000, which we could have used to actually prepare our squad, our club well for the foreseeable future to compete in other competition. A club like Mediema, when they went to Africa, their president, Moses Parker, I have a very good relationship with him, so I had a one-on-one with him. He was not just looking at the fact that it was going to be a cost to them. He was looking at the fact that, okay, if I go into Africa, I would have a big opportunity of putting Mediema on the map. People will get to know the club Mediema. I could sell some players as well. Right after Africa, their top scorer, Jonathan, Soa, had a move to Libya. He was able to transport about 9 players to a Malta club.
Yeah, I remember.
He sent Nurdin Abdullah and a few players to some Togolese clubs who were also in Africa. And he got some cash from there. And he told me clearly that once he was able to enter the group stage, he earns some money. Even though when you juxtapose that against what you've spent, you can see that it's a bit closer. The benefits of selling players and the benefits of putting this club Mediema out there for a South African company to even come and say, I want to sponsor Mediema, a gold firm. Say I want to sponsor Mediema. That is huge. But most of these hearts and kotoko, they are just thinking about, hey, mebo cow now we cry no. Yeah, you bet my head.
That's the mentality that's killing these clubs, because today,
so that's why they won't fight for
your fellow African clubs are going to the US and will get $10 million for participation in Club World Cup.
Yeah.
10 million.
Yeah.
And you see that, look at the clubs carefully. The ones who are going to the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
All of them made a decision to invest in sports years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago. And today, look at what they are reaping. The 10 million is just you coming over.
You should add to the fact that the North African clubs are the ones representing us in the Club World Cup for years now.
Yeah.
Because of heavy investment in their teams.
I think when you even go to the Club World Cup, you go a bit far. CAF organized their Super League of a sort for clubs in Africa. They called 8 clubs, and there was no club from Ghana.
Because you have to pay certain amount of money. You would pay.
The monies they were given, very good amount that they were given from the beginning of the tournament. Every stage you get to, there was an amount that you had to. But then when you check the teams that were there are teams who are currently making more investments. Teams that participate in the CAF interclub competitions, and then they do well. So for Ghana, I think, just as Mutala said, we are at a point where most of the clubs just look at, are we going to do well? If you are not going to do well, why should we stress? Because we know that even traveling on the African continent is very expensive.
It's very expensive. So
if you are not, say, a Remo Stars coming from Nigeria, where you know that your owner have his own airline company that will be able to transport the players or anything, and then you are an Accra Hearts of Oak that if you are playing against Algeria or Morocco, you have to go and land somewhere in Dubai or Turkey.
Then you make transit back to Africa.
You know that you are
that
spending
is one of the weirdest transit I've ever had. We don't even have to go far. Just recently, what participating in the Confederation Cup did for Dreams FC, it helped them to sell Abdulaziz Issa to Barcelona. He was the best player, the young best player of the tournament. I think he was the highest goal scorer as well. He allowed Agbesi also left, but only for him to get injured. That is why he couldn't secure a deal. Entry
Jalu,
not even Jalu, their captain. Jalilu also left. Entry. Is it Martin? I always forget his first name. John Entry. John Entry has been a journeyman in football. He's made a name for himself in Egypt, but he ended the move to a Libyan side right after the Confederation Cup. It helps you to sell a lot of players, and
everything is about buying and selling.
Of course, and that is why you need to put all your effort into ensuring that your team can go and participate. The benefit you get outweighs the cost. But most of the club owners we have here, I can tell you for a fact, he thinks he's invested in a team. So even if he sells a Shen for $5,000 or $10,000, instead of reinvesting that money back, instead of you are worth more than $5,000. Sorry. If he sells a shirt for $50,000, instead of reinvesting that money back into the club, he would rather keep that money because he feels over the years.
You were in this country, even for onward transfer fees that the clubs get. What do they do with the money?
Because they feel the
onward transfer fee they've got to come out. What did their coach do with the money? After he received the money, did we not hear he was kidnapped? What investment did he make with over 700,000 euros?
And you know that is the biggest challenge I have with Ghana football as a whole. Brazil, for instance, knows that they can't compete with the rest of the world. It will be difficult to make their league like the English Premier League or the Bundesliga. So the government has taken a conscious effort to invest in the clubs to ensure that they transport a lot of players from Brazil to the European market. Money comes into the country, government takes their share. As simple as that. Because they know they can't compete with the English Premier League. The Brazilian League can never become like the English Premier League. Even the time difference and the language is a barrier. But the government has made a conscious effort to invest in these clubs. Okay, for us, we are a hub of talent. We will groom and we sell. Money will come back into the country because we can't compete. What are we doing as a nation? It's just the individual club owners.
No, the current government.
I bought boot for Owuraku when Owuraku was 16 years and he came to my club. Owuraku was sleeping at my clubhouse. I bought ice cream cake for Owuraku. A South African Premier League club comes and says that I want to pay $50,000 for Owuraku. I take that $50,000 and I have about 10 other Owurakus. But instead of investing heavily in those 10 other Owurakus, I'll keep the money. My tomato ice cream cake. We don't even reinvest back into our clubs, and that is our biggest problem. That is our biggest problem here. And sometimes I don't blame the club owners. I don't blame the likes of Alhaji Gruza, because they feel over the years we've spent in grooming these players. So once we sell them, then that is our benefit. That is not how football should be done. That is the state we are in now.
The problem is that too many people get up to invest in Ghana football and have no clear plan
Zero
on
plan
how to make profits and how to make revenue. A lot of these clubs have absolutely no direction with regards to revenue targets.
No.
Multiple streams of income. Nothing. All they know is that we'll sell a player and that's how we'll make our money back. Meanwhile, I think selling a player is like maybe second, third way that you can make the most money. Because
our football people, when these people want to invest in football, that is the lie they sell to them. No, but
you see, the richest clubs, even look at in Tanzania, for instance, House of Folk,
Simba,
Kotoko. You can't tell me that you don't have a larger fan base than these Simba clubs, young African, that just came around. If you were doing your things right and you demanded your fans, Kotoko, look at the followers they have on social media. If you demanded each fan to give you 10 CDs, 10 CDs to subscribe to something that gives them value every month, think about it. Think about how much.
You said that gives them what?
Value. Of course, you can't ask me to give you 10 CDs.
I like the part that you added value, because you see this club try things which does not benefit the fans. They feel, why should I pay? Donate to help the club. Just donate to help the club. What am I getting in return? Is it a paraphernalia that I'm getting? Is it a free game that I will be?
Listen, you are even going far when you talk of things that you will get. Whether it's even things that they are doing for the club itself and like content.
Yeah.
Because let's look at what Accra did for Benjamin Asari. Listen, 3Sports, you guys have created over probably 10 different content on Benjamin Asari alone. From this to hero, from that to that, how his career is skyrocketing, spoken to different people. What has Accra had to Folk done about that whole content thing around Benjamin Asari so that they will benefit off of their YouTube alone? Because you already have the following, you already have your YouTube running. If they have a very good camera and a nice microphone, I mean, you need a phone and a microphone to do that. They didn't even meet him at the airport. Like, just meeting him at the airport with the phobia fans.
You are talking about, is it Benjamin Asari that you are talking about?
Yes.
We sat in this country for a club to sign Sule Muntari. They couldn't just take Sule Muntari to their clubhouse. Tell fans that we are giving a discount to of our jerseys. We are, instead of 100 CDs, we are selling it for 40 CDs or 50 CDs, and Sule Muntari will sign for you. They could not do that.
That's what I'm saying.
They couldn't do that. Someone signed Asamoah and couldn't utilize the huge image of Asamoah, buy a Legon City's jersey and let Asamoah sign for you. Fans who don't even support Legon City would have gone there just to get Asamoah to sign their jersey. But sign anywhere, they will just post pictures and a whole amount we are done.
Do you see the video?
So House of Folks female team comes up with an initiative, and there's this who says, champions aren't just made on the field, they are made with your support. Together, let's bring glory to phobia. Donate to Oaks FC.
Every day they are taking
this
from
is
the
this
fans.
is you begging.
Every day they are taking from the fans without giving anything. You have Mercy Table. She has so much stories too. Now your team, you are doing well. Tell us the stories of your players. Don't make tell us something. People will go and watch. People are not sitting down just watching any YouTube video. Like, excite us. Do anything. Besties, let two girls come and talk about how they like
at
to
this
play.
point. At this point, they should.
No, I understand.
They should
No,
employ her.
I understand where Owuraku is coming from. No, I understand where Owuraku is coming from, saying that we are just looking at one stream of income.
Oh,
See how the European clubs milk the transfer of a player. When Manchester United were re-signing Cristiano Ronaldo, it was as if the world was coming to an end.
Yeah.
Everything is about Ronaldo. You go on Manchester United's page from morning to evening, buy a Ronaldo replica shirt for a discount of so. The United stores were full. That is how you utilize. Signing huge players, but here we even signed the likes of Ajimabedu, great Olympic sign Ajimabedu, and there's nothing about it. They don't even post. Fine, on the day of a game, you will see Ajimabedu's picture. We've captured former Ghana in the blah blah blah, and he plays 1, 2, 3 games, and that is it.
But I think clubs. It also comes to the fact that clubs, you don't see the accounts and all of that. Now, in accounting terms, if you look at the revenue side, you have 3 main streams of revenue: that player sales, the TV rights, right, as well, and the merchandise that you have.
How about tickets?
It's part of that bit too. So like ticket sales. Okay. So we put it under that. So if the clubs understand that these 3 are there to work with, and then you can find a way to maximize these 3, because even with the player selling, right, if you don't provide enough data that is quantifiable to make a big case, a player that you can sell for 100,000, you end up selling him for half. Meaning, in actual sense, you are not making the kind of profit you should be making.
Yeah.
So it also involves extra investments to get the data bit. It also involves sort of a discussion with the GFA to sort of maximize the whole TV revenue bit, give them some leeway where they can actually provide some content, some highlights, which would not bring them any trouble. Because, there's been cases and some whispers that, clubs are usually not allowed to release, footages of their highlights and all of that. If all of these can be solved, right, then we have a conversation we can actually carry. We have a conversation with regards to making a lot more money for these things. Because, Charlie, it's easy to find a way to get merchandise to sell. It's easy to find a way creatively create some merchandises, add to club membership and all of that. Like maybe if you buy, with Arsenal and these other clubs, when you buy like a season ticket, you can get some specific stuff in addition.
But
Now you
find
find
a creative way to do it. We are in the country where Chelsea, there are more Chelsea jerseys in town than Kotoko and has jerseys.
Bro, it's not that
it's easier. It's easier to just go to town and see a Chelsea jersey and buy. How many Kotoko and has jerseys have you
it's
seen
not
in town?
deep. Charlie, season tickets.
Interestingly, when I went to France, I think there was a Ligue 1 match that Auxerre were about to play. And after the match, one of the Ligue 1 officials was teasing, the Auxerre media manager that, like, if they want to get the rest of their fans. So how the LFP does is that you have, let's say, you're entitled to X million a season. They've given objectives. So if one of the objectives that I know, for instance, was that Auxerre was supposed to create an English account. Every French team is supposed to create an English account. So they were saying that once you've not created an English account, we're not going to give you that money.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way in which the FA can also help.
Yeah.
In a way that you are like the father figure. You are the one who leads all of these teams. Sometimes you have to put them into the right places.
Yeah.
A lot of these clubs are lazy. They don't want to. Maybe the motivation needs to come from elsewhere. Because I don't understand how individuals in Ghana here have videographers following them, taking videos. And you as a club, you are telling me that you cannot invest in content creation and things. Like, individuals are doing this and making money, millions in Ghana here. And football clubs that you have access to all of this territory, market, potential, fans. You're just sleeping. Why are we not abreast with new technology, new stuff? We'll wait before 20, 30 years, then we'll start content. Why?
That is why people are waiting to see what the likes of Togba Afede will do when the autonomous league bodies created, because that would be the clubs themselves. They will be running their own league. So maybe when they are sitting closer to the fire themselves, they would want to do things right. Because Togbe Afede has said countless times that we can also run our league like the European system.
Allah.
And put things in place. So maybe when the club owners or those who run the clubs are put at the forefront, they will begin to do things differently. For the FA, I feel the FA has failed most of the Premier League clubs as organizers. They've not really been strict when dishing out some of these instructions, because, I mean, how can a coach even decide not to do a presser and just leave?
And how can a social media manager decide not to do match updates?
That's the thing. The social media administrator should just take their work. In as much as
do you know a player's course? A player's course in Bechim. Your friend, is it Kofi Tompu? Pine from there. If I go on the street and show his picture to 10 people who follow the Ghana Premier League, about 6 of them may not even know that is
your players called a potential Puskas
goal.
Yeah, you know, find way promote time nice.
Go and check Beche's page.
The only reason
with a world-class commentary behind it.
Sandra Owusu-Ansah, when she was playing in the women's league at the time, was when there was a vibrant media created for all the women's Premier League team. So at the time when she scored her goal, it was all over social media. People saw it. People started talking about it. That was when she became like her goal was nominated, shortlisted for the Puskas Award.
Even had to
it's all about
see, at this point,
we are rather doing more on Benjamin Asari than how to put the content on Benjamin Asari alone. How to put have milked
on Benjamin Asari.
Benjamin Asari's content to grow their page.
But Charlie,
but they are not even doing that.
Charlie, at this point, invite one Premier League club social media team. Let them come and teach them something.
No, but I think that they forget that in as much as they love the club and when they lose, it affects them. Their job is to feed the social media page. Yeah. So you really don't have to stress yourself so much about the comments you are getting. The insults will come.
Even United and Chelsea are still post defeat at Emirates.
Full time defeat at the Lagos.
I love the Chelsea handler. Defeat at Emirates. Simple.
Like whatever you do,
defeat at home.
The backlash will come, but you still have to continue posting. That's why you need.
Who is handling that account?
Different kinds of
the Chelsea social media handler is serious.
No,
defeat at Emirates. Just put the scoreline the 2-1.
No, that one doesn't.
The time where he realized that Enzo, when he uses Enzo on the post, on the poster, full-time post after the game, people don't insult him that much. And so for over more than 5 matches they lost, it was Enzo's picture back to back.
It's strategic.
Charlie, if Lakers lose, no, the right final with the picture, they finish.
You wouldn't
no,
say
but
anything.
what hurts me is that it's not even a case that there aren't people who can't do these things in Ghana. Like you have to go. So many, the university graduates, so many of them go to videography.
Andrew will grow their page from this to that.
You just need a little funds.
By the way, Kotoko are leading. By go to Neo.
Nice.
Normal.
I posted this on my ex. I was saying that we
30 minutes into play, he scored. Saka Dauda,
okay.
Like we missed something with Benjamin Asari, and it was a car hard to folk. I didn't see why they couldn't even get a mic'd up moment with Benjamin Asari.
They did interview that they almost cut off his head after the
official meet by got Benjamin Asari's arrival
at the
crash hostel. Don't have that. Official meet by has that.
With their colors and welcoming him.
You just create something huge. People will say you're overreacting.
Settings are in the need. Even if it's
for
settings,
the optics.
in the need.
Just go and welcome him. Grant an interview there. Benjamin Asari, official meet by your friend, has an arrival. How to vote do not have it.
Shout out to meet by.
Just right. Oh.
Official meets by my guy. Okay, let's move on from one FA Cup to the other. Let's head to the English one, where I think we didn't really have any surprises here. Maybe people thought Man City might not have enough against Burnley, but then it looked like in the first half.
Yeah.
But they managed to come back 2-1, and Villa beating Preston North End by 3-0. Very straightforward. Nottingham Forest, a penalty shootout again. At this time, victorious against Brighton. and Crystal Palace just too strong for Fulham. So semi-finals is Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, Manchester City, all at Wembley. Who wins this for you guys?
Oh, sweet. I don't want City to win. That is all I can see. City must not win this one.
So who goes to the final? Who win?
Oh, I want to see Nottingham Forest in the final for some reason. I think their season has been really, really encouraging, and they are not going to win the Premier League, but I think it will be a very good crowning moment for them if they go all the way to win the FA Cup. For Manchester City, even Pep says these players, they don't deserve a bonus, so they should just exit the competition and let us find our feet, But I think for me, Nottingham Forest should win it.
Same. I mean, Nottingham Forest have had a good season. Last season, they were relegated.
Yeah.
They weren't the best teams last season. So to move from that position they were in last season to now like having a very comfortable position, playing lovely, and seeing what like guys who moved from other teams, that's why they were not really like, okay, let's just sell them, let's take them there, coming together to show people that we still have it in there and we can still play. I think they have done good for themselves this season. It should be a crowning moment for them, as Bill said, if they are able to go ahead to win it. But then just because if Manchester City wins this thing, be like, so Arsenal in the season that in the season that Manchester City shakra, they got a trophy.
It won't work. That is why it won't work. It won't work. Nottingham Forest all the way.
Butala.
Let's go.
Rashford said he's back to his best.
I want
So do you want Aston Villa to win it?
Yeah, I want an evenly distribution of success this season. It's likely Nottingham would qualify for the Champions League.
So that's their trophy.
Yes, it will be a huge trophy than even winning the FA Cup for me. If they're able to qualify for the Champions League and finish second, that would be huge. For Aston Villa, I'm looking at the investment Unai Emery and his handlers have done in the team. I mean, if you look at the Aston Villa team and you look at their position even on the English Premier League table, it doesn't tally. Because we couldn't get players who. If you look at that Aston Villa team, to have Asensio, to even sell this, John Duran, and still have the likes of Marcus Rashford in that team, it's a very, very strong team. For me, winning the FA Cup would be some positive for them because of the investments they've done. For Manchester City, they will always lack around. And it doesn't look like Pep Guardiola will end the season without anything. It still feels, I am sitting here, it's left with about 8 games to end the season, right? But I still feel Manchester City may even sneak into the Champions League and win something in the end. But with the kind of motivation Nottingham Forest have, the kind of motivation Nottingham Forest have, and the game being played at Wembley, and how bad Manchester City have been this season. But if they're able to go past Nottingham Forest and sneak into the final, I tip them to win. At least they will do some. Kululu and Haaland will score some one goal.
But today, I
wish Aston Villa wins this trophy because of the investment they've done.
But let's think of this. Pep hasn't suffered like that too. He has to go through proper suffering.
Maybe he has suffered. The guy suffer get divorced.
I'm talking about the football.
He scratched his head several times.
Probably not. Maybe this will probably be one of the worst seasons.
Yeah, so we have to crown it better.
Do you know what it means to scratch your head?
Safe in the league, no FA Cup,
that would be a disaster.
Meaning no Champions League, no trophy.
Because
that is what I want to see Pep. I want to see him go through that and see how he bounces back. Because a lot of the managers that we've seen in the world, they've gone through some level of pain in their lives.
So you want to see how you bounce back?
I want to see how he bounces back.
How he bounce back next season.
When he gets out of the Champions League and then he doesn't win the trophy, then we'll see.
So Pep Guardiola playing the Europa League.
Oh yeah, it would actually be box office,
over his dead body.
See. It would actually raise the level of the Europa League. We like it. Oh yeah, all of them Europa.
In the Europa League.
Yeah.
Traveling to Panathinaikos.
Yeah.
And to Zvezda Zvezda.
Yeah, it would be
Bulgaria.
Nice. See, imagine it. Imagine the sort of atmosphere, the sort of gravitas City will bring to Europa League.
Do you think if they don't qualify for the Champions League, they will lose their pool power?
They
with
will.
Pep. I think with Pep they will still have. They will still have the
First
proof.
days.
With
They still have
Pep,
the proof.
not the club, but with Pep.
Oh, with Pep they will still have the
Okay.
proof.
Everyone
Okay.
knows that it's a temporary distance.
Oh, that is why they have to feel it. Crowning moments, no Champions League. It's now paying me that 5 Premier League teams can qualify. That means they can sneak in. No, we don't want that. They have to finish 6th, and then we can
Arsenal
see.
man who is
No,
finishing
see, Charlie. Nah,
Really?
Master, the suffering we have gone through. He hasn't gone
Already,
through
you know,
some
last
before.
season we
He
would
has to
have
go
sat
through
here
some.
and completely write everybody off and say Man City will win this FA Cup. But because of how bad they are,
Yeah.
they are coming up against Nottingham Forest, and we are not even confident
Whether they
that
can,
they can even beat Nottingham Forest to qualify for them. That is how low they've sunk. I mean, I think there's a big problem with the team because Pep says nothing has changed. The training is still the same. I mean, there are rudiments when it comes to diet and everything. So he doesn't really know what has changed, and he has to figure it out.
Rodri-
But for how
Rodri
long
back.
do you want to stay on top as
That's
a
why he has
champion?
to feel it.
No, for how long can you stay on top as a champion?
People
Whatever
like
the
Pep
case.
Guardiola do not see
But
the
whatever
league why
the
they need
case,
to drop.
diminishing
They
returns
feel
for
they
us.
have to be like
Always
they have
at
to
the
be
top.
always at
That's
the top. They have to be like this.
Same.
And
You see,
once they are
that
in the
will
game,
make it so sweet. Pep in Europa League.
Anyways, before we
Box
wrap up, just on the Brazil national team, we know that Dorival Jr. is set to be sacked as the head coach of the Brazil team. They've been pretty underwhelming in the past few months. Who is the ideal replacement for Dorival Jr.?
I mean, they've been looking at Ancelotti for years. The problem is Ancelotti is still Real Madrid's coach. But then again, Real Madrid are also looking at Xabi Alonso. So that also opens the window, sort of. If Ancelotti doesn't win a trophy with Real Madrid, he could be sacked.
Yeah.
And then Xabi Alonso comes in, and then Brazil will get their man. I think their ideal man will definitely be Ancelotti. The only problem is Ancelotti hasn't really tasted international football. He's mainly been with the club football. So that would be a totally different terrain for him. Totally different when it comes to preparation-wise, because he wouldn't be training with men every single day. He would rather be touring the whole of Brazil, touring parts of Europe to watch his players play, and then he would have to wait for some injuries that will come in and all of that.
Well, I don't
So-
know. Am I the only one who feels Brazil's problem goes beyond the coach?
it goes
I just
beyond.
feel their level has dropped
Oh
in
yeah,
terms of quality.
that's also there. That's
Apart
also
from
there.
the
But
fact
but with a good coach, they can
Apart
get
from
they
the
can
fact
get
that
to some
their
better level.
has dropped, or even with a good coach. Listen, they had some of the best players in the world. No, not currently. They had some of the best. How none of them was able to transition into being a coach like we are seeing in Africa, where we go to the AFCON and we have almost 4 former players leading their teams, and to a point where they won the AFCON with their countries. Bemerdi did that with Algeria, Senegal, Aliou Cisse did that, MS Faye did that with Ivory Coast, and for Brazil is like,
You know how I'm laughing.
Ronaldo can't coach. Ronaldinho can't
You are
coach.
asking a Brazilian
To come and coach.
to go back to football.
To come and coach.
You want Neymar, Ronaldo.
Most
go-
of them
to
after
go back to
football,
this-
they
These guys just
they
want
They
to
just
party.
want to enjoy their life.
Yeah.
That's
They
what
just
I'm
want to
saying.
party. You should go and write UEFA exam.
Ronaldinho
What?
doesn't want to go and catch fishes in season.
God-
What
God,
about
I-
But no,
look at the
but
team.
but that's
if
actually
any
an
of
issue.
Yes.
them, because they
No,
are still
they are not
very much
producing good
respected.
coaches.
Listen, they
Yeah.
are very much still respected. I saw a video of Rodrigo when he saw Ronaldo, original Ronaldo, and he actually just what?
Charlie, we have been told not to say original
R9.
Ronaldo.
Okay, R9.
R9.
Thank you.
When he saw R9, he bowed and then he prayed and he touched.
Yeah,
his
they
feet
respect them a
and-
lot, yeah.
So they still respect them very much. All they had to do was all the ball their ball knowledge and
Okay,
everything.
so they are
Take it
taking a
into a
cue
school and
from
just-
Maradona in Argentina that the best players are usually not the best coaches. Only Ronaldo bar. Ronaldo
they
is
can
thinking
pick-
about
they
opening
can pick
some
from
club B,
Africa.
some big night club B in
Enjoying their
in
life.
Bruno Aires. I said Bruno Aires in
Buenos Aires.
what's the
Buenos
name?
Aires.
Their capital. I mean, opening it
No,
at
Sao
Santos
Paulo.
or Sao Paulo or something. They are not thinking about coaching though.
Yeah.
Once they leave football, when they grant interviews, listen to them. They don't talk about coaching. They don't talk about getting back into football. Once they leave football, they want to go out
Those
there
should be
and
their
explore
men.
their
Those
life.
should-
But
those
for
players should
me,
be
I
their
feel
men.
naturally, they are going through the law of diminishing returns. They hit their peak, It happens to almost every national team. Germany went through after the 2014 World Cup. Brazil have gotten to the top and have dropped levels because these days you even have players from Fulham being invited into the Brazilian national team, and they are starting. The likes of Pereira, they are starting.
But I think it also stems from them shipping out their biggest stars a bit too early. They don't sort of mature to some level before they sort of ship them out. I mean, I'll mention.
No, it's a conversation. It's a really important conversation.
It's a huge thing.
When was the last time Brazil played samba football? Most of their players are now playing like Europeans, and it's a worry to even Roberto Carlos and the likes of Ronaldinho. They said these stars are shipped out very early, 16, 17. So they take the European football doctrine and they come back with it. So now they are beginning to play like Europeans rather than play like the normal samba boys where they entertain and score goals. So it's a big problem.
The last true leader was Neymar. He left Brazil.
Leader uncle.
He left Brazil at age 21. At that time, he had already entered Ballon d'Or top 10. He had matured enough. He understood the jinga enough to go to Europe and still play. Now, Vinicius no cry. He went to Madrid at 18. Rodrigo went to Madrid at the same age. We've had even Gabriel Martinelli. He went to Arsenal at 17 or so. So, Charlie, all your brightest stars, you are taking them there early. You go and learn all the European football. They will come and compete with those Europeans who know the European football even more, and they will lose games. So, I think Brazil have to rethink their strategy because Charlie, that Joga Bonito, Charlie, it was pure
football, pure street football. But now, I mean, Charlie, they're falling off. They should just accept that they are going through a very difficult time and they need to restructure. It's not just the Brazilian national team, even the Brazilian teams who are competing in the South American war, the Asian, the North American, the CONCACAF Cups, they are not doing well these times. The Botafogos and the Santos.
But we are here. CONCACAF, have they ever been saying?
we were here when Santos were even relegated. And they have a big issue when it comes to talent. And also, it goes beyond just Brazil. Football has evolved a lot. Other nations have also picked up and learned a lot in terms of science. It's not just pure football, you knowing that you can play football. Football now goes with science. You can be a very good player, skillful, but if you don't have the science and data to back you, you'd always go onto the pitch and think because you have the skill. It's good. The Spanish and the English and the Belgians, they're adding science to it. So it's about time Brazil sits and reset their football. Because these days, Pereira comes from Fulham and wears the number AGC. In the past, the likes of the Nelson were not even getting a shot. Gilberto Silva, Ebo Captain Amber, now say Pereira, Andres Pereira. Today, all these players, if I ask you to name one Brazilian right back who is now playing beautiful football, who would you name? In Europe. Who is competing in like the top 5
Brazil was
best
blessed
right backs in the world, and even left back. Apart from since Marcelo left, who can you mention?
Maybe Alexandro.
Alexandro, no Papa Ben Obo Juventus. You see, you are struggling. They've just lost quality.
Yeah,
they've just lost quality, and they should just accept that they need to restructure their football. If not, they will still rely on Rafinha and the likes of Rodrigo. And if they don't turn up, if Vinicius doesn't turn up, it means the Brazilian team, Neymar needs to come back.
Indeed. Well, that's how we wrap up today's edition of Sports Ultras. Big thank you to you at home for listening to us. We spoke to Amin Lamptey on the unfortunate passing of a Nigerian boxer here at the Bukom Boxing Arena. And then we touched on the MTN FA Cup in Ghana. Kotoko currently leading through democracy by 1-0. They look set to head to the semi-finals alongside Bukom, Chelsea, Tram Devisa, and then Golden Kicks. I was also joined in studio by Mutala Yakubu, Akosia J, and then Bill Ishen as well. There are a number of games that are still ongoing across Europe, and so you can get updates of that on our social media handles at 3Sports GH, especially in the Serie A where Napoli are currently leading AC Milan by 2-0. A very important win for them given that Inter earlier in the day beat Udinese as well. The Serie A looks like it would go down the wire just like La Liga. We'll be dedicating more time to those leagues next week as we'll be trying to understand and project how we think the leagues would end in Italy and Spain. But till then, have a good week, and tomorrow and Tuesday are actually holiday, so enjoy your holidays. We'll be back again same time next week Sunday.